A little boy climbed an apple tree. He stole an apple, then two, then three. And when he started to climb back down, he slipped and he landed on the ground. Up jumped the devil, up jumped the devil. And every time he turned around, up jumped the devil in the white nightgown.
There we go.
What's going on in America and the rest of the world? Xander Hobson and George Macon here. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? Yeah, you know, we was on here talking about women and how women choose. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty privilege and shine. Is that what we talking about?
Yeah, we talking about pretty privilege and the way that men choose women. And you know, we was talking about the red bones in the hood back in the day. The girls with the big booties, like the pretty girls that got chosen first, the ones that all they had to do was show up. They didn't even have to open their mouth. They just had to appear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they was chosen. They had nothing to do with morality. It had nothing to do with how she was raised. It had to do with the visual, what you saw and what you pursued after. You looked at all the other stuff later. I mean, but then another thing is when it dealt with guys, because a lot of times we hear like a lot of manosphere arguments. We hear a lot of women and divestment arguments. You know, like I told you, I was telling a story. I got a little brother, right?
Right.
You know, because, you know, my mom is Cuban, my dad African American, right?
Right.
I got a little brother, he got the special ed look. Curly hair.
Special ed the rapper.
Yeah, special ed the rapper. He got that curly hair, brown skin. You know, just all the girls thought he was cute. He was handsome. Like, he ain't had to really do nothing. All he had to do was show up to the barbecue. And there's 46 girls hanging on the sneaker. But then, I got a cousin. He's 6'5". Black as midnight, right? Dark skin.
Right.
Built. You know, we both
a big
work
new bowl looking.
Yeah, he a big 6'5", big rock dude. He got all the women. And I remember I asked my dad, I asked my uncle, I say, how come these tall dudes always get all the women first? He said, because that's what women are attracted to first before anything. Because they feel like they could be protected.
Well, as I was telling you, George, before we got started, this whole new space is something that's new to me, man. I didn't really realize a lot of this stuff. I mean, I lived it. But as far as putting the terminology on it, there was no terminology on a lot of the stuff that you and I are talking about. For me, no terminology on it for me. For the kind of stuff that you and I are talking about, the kind of stuff that a lot of the dudes in the manosphere complain about. And I just want to say this, it's been an interesting journey. Now for me, right, I always been the guy, I played the numbers.
Right.
I know I'm not an ugly dude, but I know I'm not a drop dead.
You weren't the one that was selected right
guy.
away.
Right.
You had to do a little something.
Well, I had to work for mine.
Yeah, because it's dudes, and that's what I was alluding to. My cousin, the 6'5", dark-skinned dude.
Right.
I remember one day, years back, that's why I had my Lexus, right? I was invited to a barbecue, right? Now here you go, you know, I'm a little 5'7" dude, but I'm getting money in the hood, right?
Right.
My cousin ain't getting no money. He looked like security.
Right.
We pull up to the barbecue, right? And I'm sitting there talking to my homie, and some of the chicks that I know was there. They all whispering. And the girl walked up to me and was like, yo, who your friend with you? And I'm like, what do you mean? He ain't say anything. He just chilling.
Right.
All the women in the barbecue was looking at this big 6'5" motherfucker. And I used to be like, man, I hate you, man.
Right.
Every time I go out with you, I mean, he never cracked on nobody.
What you were exhibiting early on was the toxic masculinity that we see nowadays on YouTube with guys hating other
because
guys.
they didn't get chosen.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, I learned that never really bothered me. It just let me know, like, I was never the pretty boy and I was never the big guy that got selected. But just think about the girl. Right? Remember the red bone in the hood or the brown skin girl with the fetish. The dark skin girl didn't always get chosen right away.
Right.
And with girls, you had to have pretty privilege. There was a lot of girls that was mad. Why she the one driving the Range Rover? Why she the one get the guy? Because she had pretty privilege. All she had to do.
You know what, man? I don't even think we.
No, we record.
Okay.
All she had to do was show up. See, this ain't about morality or none of that. This is about just what go on in communities.
It's life. It's called life.
It's just life. Now,
life.
Like when I saw my wife, right? I didn't say when I first saw her, oh my God, I wonder intellectually how will she stimulate me? Fuck no. You want to be honest? I saw that ass.
Well,
I saw her face.
Well, often enough, I tell women that all the time. Men don't care about your character. Men don't care about how good you cook.
Right away.
They don't care about whether you want to be a good mother. Men are visual and they want some pussy. And to be quite frank, women are the same way. women are no different than men. Nope. You know, we don't care.
Women are visual too.
Yeah, the only thing that women may do, they may pay a little bit more attention to the fact that, okay, you look like you might be financially secure and you're able to take care of them. But initially, it's all about lust.
And the gist of it is, a lot of times as men, because a lot of times men are undersexed, they'll go for anything.
Right.
But pretty privilege is a thing. But a lot of times as guys that y'all out here watching, you'll see a certain type of woman and you'll know before you even, you ever see girl like, damn, you about to go and you something make you turn around? You know, and I ain't gonna step there, I ain't got my shit together right. Because you know ain't nothing happening. See, the world let a man know immediately. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you know. See, because like I said, when it comes to somebody like my cousin, he didn't really crack on women, they cracked on him.
Right.
And I remember I asked my dad, my dad said, well, women generally are attracted to big men, like those big, tall men, because that's like what they feel protected. Like they're naturally, they get wet. It's natural. Then the dude that they see that got money they could take care of, and then the other guy.
Once again, it comes down to the same thing. It's protection in a different form.
Yeah.
Even if I might not physically be able to protect you, a lot of times you get guys that's a means. Man, they carry pistols on them.
And most
not only
dudes,
they carry pistols, they got pistol permits.
I mean, real with you, most dudes is with women that he wasn't her first choice.
Exactly.
She went through the trials and tribulations and knew that she was supposed to be with you.
Right.
But her first choice was that 6'8" dark-skinned dude over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your first choice might not have been her. Your first choice was that, if we're gonna be real, that red bone or that girl over there with the fast, and it didn't work out. You end up getting with your wife. But see, for me, when I saw my wife, I saw she had her own natural hair, long hair. She had that brown skin, nice body. That's what I saw. I didn't say, oh my God, I wonder if she read 10 books. Right. Hell no, nigga, I was envisioning myself with her.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with my wife. I saw my wife from the distance. I saw her crossing the street. And
you start imagining.
Right away, I saw that she had a nice body. And although my wife is a very intelligent and educated woman, man, I wasn't thinking about her goddamn brains, because in all actuality with men, we have to sleep with a woman a handful of times to really know if we really actually like them. And that's a lot of times I hear guys and girls on these internets talking, and what women don't understand is just because a man is fucking you, that don't mean that he actually likes you. He might like the pussy,
right,
but he might not like you as
that's
a
the
person.
initial lust of the, That's the initial lust. He got multiple baby moms because he always dealt with girls that would say no to me, said yeah to him.
Right.
Yeah, he got the yeah, I got the no.
Right.
Well, I had to work a little harder.
Right.
So, but I'm not I was never the disgruntled dude. Oh, man, these women over. I ain't with all that, nigga. Listen, I try, I get shot down, I come back. Well, and then with me, I'm a little dude. So what I said was, I'm gonna get in the gym, put some muscles. I'm gonna work on my shit. I'm gonna work on my presentation.
Well, and see, that's the thing, George. Guys like just like myself, you know, I had to work for mine, and for me personally, I always played the numbers. Somebody gonna say yes to you. What one won't do, another one will do.
There you go.
And what a lot of times, what you got to do, you might start off with the mud duck, but you work your way up. You know what I mean? You trade it in. You know, just because you start out with the booger just to get some pussy, that don't mean you're supposed to marry a
Sometimes
booger.
as you get older, the mud duck might be the one you end up with because she do everything you want her to do.
Well,
a mud duck sometimes turn into a 7.
Well, I'm gonna say this to you, right?
Mature.
I don't encourage nobody to hook up with somebody ugly. I'm sorry, I can't agree with George Macon on that. If you are,
I ain't got an ugly wife.
Well, exactly. See, all of this is coming from the guy with the beautiful wife. But I'm gonna say as a disclaimer on record, George Macon said a second ago, you might end up with the mud duck. I am not encouraging a man to be with an ugly woman, and I'm not encouraging a woman to be with an ugly man. You should always aim for the stars, and if you fall short, you at least will be amongst the heavens.
You know what women say though? You know
What's
what women
that?
say though? A lot of times you see the real beautiful woman with the ugly dude.
Well,
women say the ugly dudes be the best lovers, and they be the ones getting the money. The pretty boys be punk ass dudes. They don't like the pretty boys get protected.
Well,
women go the opposite way.
Well, we both know some pretty boys that's more than capable of protecting people. I get the gist of what you're saying.
That Prince looking motherfucker, like the girls, they want Terrell Owens looking nigga.
Yeah. But that's a real interesting conversation, George. And again, man, you know, we don't have to beat this thing up. Guys, at the end of the day, right? Sometimes you got guys. Me and George are perfect examples of these guys. Sometimes you just got to work a little bit harder for what you want. You can't take rejection as being personal, because let's be honest, guys. If a woman who's interested in you, yet she's unappealing, steps to you, you got the right to shoot her down. So you should respect a woman's right to shoot you down, just in case you know, you're not her cup of tea.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I said, pretty privilege in the hood is not something that's pretty privilege is not. Excuse me, pretty privilege is global.
Exactly.
World thing.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna be real with you. We look at the queens and all these different women in India and all these women. These are women that are like the cream of the crop. These kings, these are beautiful, beautiful women that people. That's what they select. I didn't make the rules that way.
Yeah, life made it that way. God made it that way. I'm sorry, brother.
I'm sorry. And women, for the most part, they go for guys that they feel can produce. That can produce for them. That can produce and protect them. I didn't make it that way.
Yeah.
So you like, well, then why she select him? Well, she feeling he's the alpha of the group. He may not be, but in her eyes, she feels as though he's the alpha of the group. So that's just, so what you have to do, you have to readjust. What I had to do was, I had some things, I got qualities like the way I speak, right? My brain, I'm a very smart person, right? But my intelligence don't lead. I'm a short 5'7" stature guy, right? So what I did was, I don't take it personal. I went and got leveled up, got myself together in ways that I could be better. The same way a woman would get in the gym and get her body right, right? Some people just born like a natural fucking goddess, or just some people just born with that shit. Like, but look, they might be a dummy up here, but the physical attributes they got all of them on the outside.
And that's real life conversation. I've been with more than my share of good looking women.
That's airheads.
And a lot of times, again, they might be lacking intellectually, they might be lacking spiritually, they might not be as clean as I would like them to be. A few years back, I was dating this sister. She's a very good looking sister, but to be totally honest with you, we couldn't really make it because I had problems. This chick would not take a shower before we engaged in intercourse.
Oh, hell no.
Now, she would come to the crib and she would insist that she took a shower before she got there. And guess what? She might have, fellas, but this was the real deal. I like sucking toes and licking assholes.
Oh,
and
God.
This chick, what if she farted between the time that she got to my house?
Cut that part out.
What if she farted between the time she got to my place and left her place? What if she had to pee or something like that? There's a whole lot of things that could go on. And again, this was a very beautiful sister. But the problem I had with her was, I'm not going to go as far as to say she wasn't clean, but she wasn't
up to your standards.
She wasn't up to my standards when it came down to me and her get ready to get into the groove. No, it's a requirement. You have to take a shower. So again, you know, this is just another example. Again, not that she isn't a beautiful woman. A lot of you guys would have been like, hey man, I don't care if she take a bath or not. I'm gonna jump all over this.
So the moral of the story is, pretty privilege is a motherfucker, right? Pretty privilege, as far as women, it is what it is. Most dudes with means, you don't see them with women that's less than stellar in the look. Most men go for girls that's eye candy. When I went and chose my wife, when I went and chose my wife, I saw her looks, and I said I had to have that, right? That's how the majority of men look at. As we get older, you start looking for substance in the looks too. Substance, how can this woman take care of me, do the things I need, but not initially.
Look like we got Khalif coming up behind us.
Yeah, I had to get the confidence. Where he at?
He right there.
There you go.
Look like we got Khalif.
No, watch this. Come here, Khalif. Now watch this, right? Back in the day when he had hair, this curly hair motherfucker had all the bitches. He was one of them dudes. Listen, he was one of them dudes. All he had to do was show up. He ain't had to say nothing. He was one of them dudes. If all three of us at the barbecue, the girls like,
they come to Khalif.
No. They asking us, who your friend?
Yeah.
He was the curly haired dude. I'm the dude like, well, damn, bitch, I was trying to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, same thing with me.
He ain't talking to no chicks. They all wanted to talk to him. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying was, no, it's the
stop it, sir.
Yeah, stop it,
sir. He look at him very modest. He can't even say it with a straight face.
What we trying to say is, if pretty privilege was a thing, and girls like the handsome guys or the big tall dudes, they feel like they can protect them. That's just something that go on in the hood. It's not personal. Just because you can't always get the girl you think you want, that don't mean you get the scruntle hate all chicks. Nigga, you go back to the drawing board and you keep trying. Some niggas is just born looking like motherfucking Shaka Zulu. Now, some dudes is born with just that look.
And just keeping it 100, right? Now again, we're all good-looking guys in our own right. But for the appeal, for the sex appeal, Khalif is the guy that they would want to put on the magazine. They want to put them on the magazine. They wouldn't want to put me on the magazine.
I'm too short.
They would, but if they wanted to do a magazine or a bulletin about violence or gun violence, well, yeah, they would put me and George on there as a couple of goons. But Khalif was the guy.
He was a pretty boy
that
back
they
in
would
the
put
day.
on the GQ magazine. So
him and the 6'5", the 6'6" dark skin dude.
Right.
Holding the football and shit.
So the moral of the story is, guys, for me, if I can put a message out there, you have to play the numbers. Everybody's not a Khalif, everybody's not a Xander, everybody's not a George Macon. But if you play the numbers, believe me, you'll come up with something. Now, you might meet a chick, she might be beautiful, but she might have poor hygiene, or she
poor
might
attitude.
She might be poor attitude. She might be dumb as a bag of rocks.
But after you bang her, you don't want to know.
Right. But if you play the numbers, you'll eventually land on boardwalk.
And don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Just get in where you fit in. That's all. Stop being so disgruntled. You women too. If you weren't born with pretty privilege, a lot of, what's funny, I say this and this, a lot of these girls with pretty privilege that's from like a 10 to a 9, a lot of them don't even, they end up getting the selection of men early, but they don't end up married. A lot of 6 and 7s be the ones end up married. A lot of these pretty girls be 44 with 3 kids, still bad as hell and no husband, because they had so many options, they never settled down.
Right.
Back in the day, you gotta understand, you had to have game.
That too.
No matter what, if you had the looks, you just had to have a little bit of game, but it was all about the game, how you approach them and how you talk. You feel me?
Yeah,
So,
but you got me doing just wild looks and shit.
Yeah.
Pretty motherfucker. I hated your motherfucking man. Don't invite Khalif to the barbecue and shit. I'm trying to get with Karitha.
Okay.
I'm trying to get with Karitha. Don't invite Khalif, man.
Well, we ain't gonna invite him, but where's he at? So that's what she gonna say. Where's Khalif at? I thought he was
we come
coming.
there, look, we showing our best. Hey, my Khalif ain't come.
And another thing, guys, real quick, also I want to touch on, I'm talking to the males and the females out there. One of the things you got to do, right, if you're not a naturally attractive person like our friend Khalif here, sometimes you have to adorn yourself. It's just like the peacocks. You step your game up intellectually, physically by working out. You start dressing nice. You want to wear the perfumes. Believe me, you're gonna appeal to somebody. But it starts up here. It's your attitude more than anything. And believe it or not, men and women, people can see when you have an ugly attitude. When you have an ugly disposition, that shows. And a lot of times you could be a nice looking person with an ugly disposition, but you'll get a little bit more play. But if you are an ugly person, or a person who is not as appealing with an ugly disposition, you're going to frighten people. You take a look at me and George. We look like a couple of sinister guys, but we have a very decent disposition, and we are approachable, and people are afraid of us. But if we had a hostile disposition, people would avoid us because they could see the ugliness coming outside of us. And again, the way both of us look like a couple of stick-up men, and we can't be exuding.
That's my old head,
We can't be exuding hostility and expect for people to, want to be bothered with us.
And it just closes it up. I'm done. Just how you carry yourself, and just listen. Pretty privilege, I'm gonna say it again, is a real thing. But for the most part, me at 46, I've learned as time went on, most of the people with pretty privilege don't end up husband and wives.
Right.
That was just early on. Because at some point it gets to substance.
Right.
It gets to see what you want substance. That's all I'm saying. So I'm done there.
So with that said, folks, bam.